Good evening and welcome to the Bitter Knitters podcast. It's Monday, November. What
Jesus
the hell?
fucking Christ.
September 10th.
Rewind.
September 10th, 2018. I don't know what month I'm in. Maybe I'm waiting for those midterms we were just talking about.
Oh!
I don't know. But yeah, so
Hello,
how was your weekend?
Eh.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
let
didn't
me
really
start.
do anything. Okay, Ryan's going off. Here we go. Wait a minute. I just want to say,
Okay.
I know what you're up to. I talked about this on the last show when you were, quote, away. Writing your anonymous op-ed about me and trying to... Ryan, I have a very squeaky clean background, and you're the one with all the garbage.
We're gonna get to all that stuff. I do want to say I was sick. I actually just last night took my last what do you call that? My last my last pill of azithromycin.
Oh, your flap is cleared up finally. That's so nice.
Let me tell you, this pussy was dearly fucked on Saturday. It was very open.
Just be careful because you know that antibiotics can interfere with your birth control, Ryan.
Yeah.
Fuck the birth control. Give me those babies, honey. I need child support.
Fuck.
Well, you start with whatever. I have so much going on in my head. I wanted to kind of start off with my weekend. I didn't really do anything as usual. Typical, whatever. I have a life. I'm an old woman.
Same. I didn't do anything either. I mean, there wasn't a ton of stories to talk about. I guess the biggest non-political story that I have, it's more of an update. And I thought it was kind of a big blow to Alex Jones was that Apple is no longer allowing people to go to the App Store and download his InfoWars app.
And now
granted, Microsoft and Samsung and whatever that other one is, where you go to the Play Store, that's the phone I have. They still have it for now. That's 80% of the market is Android. So he still has a chance to get a lot of people, but it's a big blow.
Can I just say this? Oh God, this is such an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't mind people with their conspiracy theories and their stuff. Whatever it is, as long as you don't hinder someone, you know what I mean? As long as you're not slandering, as long as you're not doing libel, as long as you're not crying. The First Amendment covers almost anything besides you saying there's a fire in a packed movie theater. This is the example that we're all taught in the United States of America in elementary school, right? That's the idea of what the First Amendment covers. Now, anything after that is questionable, and that's why you amend laws, and that's why you go to the Supreme Court or whatever, and you fight and battle this out, and blah, 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 blah. Alex Jones, there are liberals who are just as intense, if not more. There's also that other guy, I don't know if you guys know him, he's on YouTube. He's the one that always has everything is phallic. Old man, white hair, glasses, always in that weird kind of Walmart button-down shirt that he's always wearing.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I don't watch a lot of YouTube.
He's always talking about everything in the United States is phallic, and that's why we are whatever the fuck it is. He's
so basically
liberal.
This guy's dick is fest.
Yeah. But then this guy also has not been taken out of YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Or that girl from Kuwait who was... I mean, basically, yes, her endorsements were taken up, but Instagram did not take down her videos. Granted, she's not from the United States of America, but you know what I mean? Free speech is free speech. I know that there's this open court case on Alex Jones right now, but you know, I mean,
that's the thing. He hasn't had his free speech taken away because he hasn't been charged by the government.
And that's
he's broken violations in terms of services on these platforms, and that's why he's lost those platforms.
The fact of the matter is Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, those are private companies. They're not provided to you. They're not a right of any of ours, right? And if I run a fucking social media thing, as much as like I am for freedom of speech, and I mean like completely unhindered freedom of speech, I have the right to do whatever. You know, like me having my own views about private companies and what have you, you know, like, fuck you, Alex, that's what you get. Like, you ran your mouth, they didn't like it, see you later. Find another fucking platform, moron.
You guys just solidified the idea because, as we all know, and this is on the news, it's a very heavy news week when it comes to politics.
Yeah.
Extremely heavy news week. That Donald Trump has asked, or has mandated, rather, Jeff Sessions to go against the internet, basically, in regards to conservative people. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you? What is wrong with you, 45? Because you are the #1 person on Twitter right now, spewing whatever it is that you spew, whether it's lies or real. Most of them lies.
Yeah.
And you're putting it out there, and you're not being banned. You're not being put down. You just keep going. Sean Hannity's still on there. Laura Ingraham, Bill O'Reilly, all these crazy nut jobs are still on there. They're not
that horrible. What's that horrible one? Blonde one?
Coulter?
Yes, Ann Coulter.
And Coulter. You know, they're still on there. Why are you think that these big privatized companies are actually going against conservatives? I don't believe that. I really, honestly, I don't.
Yeah.
There has been some silencing of conservative voices on YouTube.
Yeah.
Some popular YouTubers have. As to what fucking Donnie Bitch Tits is referring to, though, he's only talking about the fact when he types in his name, it's only bad things that show up because he doesn't understand how fucking algorithms work.
Yeah,
Don't research your fucking name because you're going to see what the rest of us fucking people are looking up based on an average.
About you and how much we really think about you, bud.
It's the dumbest thing for him to bitch about, you know. But again, there have been, like, YouTube has for the last year now has been silencing some conservative voices on their platform. But again, it's their fucking platform. They can use it however the fuck they want.
Well, and I mean, like, think about it. We broadcast on YouTube, you know, every week. And technically, we could have some of our videos taken down or our channel canceled because we're breaking the terms of service every time we swear.
Yeah, technically.
What?
Technically, yeah.
Fuck me sideways.
Yeah.
And let me ride your cowgirl reverse too, darling. No, but we are. There's always terms and services that people break. I mean, let's not, you know what I mean? YouTube, please don't cancel.
Granted, we don't have 10 million subscribers and people aren't paying attention to us, so we can bend our little rules and hopefully people don't report us, right?
But there is this anger that I have towards Jeff Sessions right now, who would even entertain this. Why would you entertain this? This is what they want. This is what all of them want. They want you to feed into it. The base is roaring for you to do this. There is no investigation for you to have. You know what I mean? Like,
it's hysterical that they keep going on about how you know, people are being censored, right? Which, you know, like Arthur said, people are being censored to some degree.
But what about the real
this is the government that
trying to do?
They're really trying to censor people. This is the government that wants to change laws to sue the press.
Was it in February of 2018 that he joked around that we should be silencing the press? That all press people, including conservatives, were angry about that he said that.
Oh, and let's not forget that he lost the court case that he couldn't block people on Twitter because he's the president and everybody should be able to have some sort of interaction through that court.
United States Supreme Court.
Yeah, he lost that and he had to unblock people that he'd previously blocked, which I think is really hysterical.
I mean, that's funny. But I mean, he should have the right to fucking not hear people if he wants. I don't know.
But he can't. If he uses that platform to talk about policy,
presidential shit, I guess I could see that
not
now
his
being
private account.
An arm of the government now.
Yeah, and that's how that's what he even says. Don't listen to any of this stuff. Listen to me only. I'm the only one who's telling you the truth. So you have to be able to go to his Twitter and think that that's the truth.
The hypocrisy of it all. You said that the Russia probe, because that's what it is. It's not just a collusion probe. It's the Russia probe. The investigation, the open investigation that we're having with Mueller and his team. You're saying that that's a witch hunt, yet you're trying to literally witch hunt the person who wrote the op-ed piece in the New York Times. A company that you said.
And don't forget about Hillary's emails. Gotta witch hunt that. And let's not forget about all the leakers that are there. Because I mean, even before this op-ed, there was all the leakers.
Yeah. There were tons of leaks before there was fire.
I don't know how Jeff Sessions stands in the morning literally without a spine. Like, that's some science technology to get this guy standing up.
I think he's just happy to be included.
You
know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I really do think he's just so happy to be there. Like, he doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
Puppy that still loves its owner,
right? You know, like, exactly. I mean? He's just so happy to be out of his crate. The sun shining on his face, like
to be out of his wheelchair that he's being wheeled on.
Out under his little troll bridge,
right?
I probably listen into our show, and I invite a lot of people to listen to us. I'd like to think we're rational individuals here. There's probably this consensus that people might think we are all these liberal, crazy people that don't believe in 45 and blah 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 blah, and we have long armpit hair and
that sounds like me.
And kumbaya. However, we have people on here who are pretty conservative. We have people on here who are pretty moderate, and then we have Jacqueline. So, I'm kidding, but you know what I mean. Like,
but I like to think that I'm at least rational in the sense that even though I'm a liberal, and I'm pretty liberal as you can get, I'm not one of those people that think that it's my belief or you know, you're a Nazi or you're a fascist. I think that, you know, and I can listen to other opinions and not get my feelings hurt, even if I don't agree with them in the long run.
I'm very moderate. I'd like to think that I'm very moderate with a lot of things.
That's the issue with political labels in this day and age, is because if you say that I'm a lefty or I'm a liberal, people imagine that you feel that anything right of Stalin is a Nazi. Or if you say I'm a conservative, people just paint a little black mustache on you and you're wearing riding boots all of a fucking sudden. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, everyone's so goddamn reactionary.
Let's say those boots are sharp. Sorry. I mean, Hitler wasn't a nice guy, but them boots was sharp.
Them stormtroopers are well put together. Like, they really paid attention to the image of it. I mean, fuck, Goebbels is a propaganda master for a reason.
He was a genius,
you know what I mean? Like, seriously. But no, it's just to me, all of this, all that rhetoric it's just about shutting people down. I feel like people just have this fucking urge to be correct nowadays. Regardless of listening, regardless of even understanding the facts, they just want to be correct. They want to be able to throw it in someone's face. We'll see. Well, I hold the moral fucking high ground.
And when something does pan out that way in their favor, that's the first thing you see. You see, I told you about Trump. See, I told you about Hillary.
That's the main problem that we're having, I think, just in politics in general, globally. And you know, and we're going to the whole global thing, is that we are not basing things off of facts anymore. We are going off of opinions. And I'm really tired.
In some places, opinions have become fact, and that's the scary thing.
Yeah. Well, I had this huge... I just want to... thank you. And feelings, I agree with you on that, Arthur, because I had this huge conversation with my family about it this weekend, actually. Nothing explosive. Typically, we get very explosive, but I've gotten to the point where it's just... I made a little comment, and I'm sure it hurt people's feelings, but I don't really give a flying fuck. I said, yeah, because all you ever seem to do is go off of what you think. I don't want to break your feelings, but this is what I said. I don't want to break your feelings, but the sky is blue. It's not imaginary.
Yeah.
You don't get to say it's red in your eyes because you're colorblind. It's fucking blue. You know what I mean? And that's the main issue that I have. We are so reactionary. We're so just opinion based now. No one wants to go with what is black and white, what's written. Like this whole Kavanaugh situation that's going on. No one wants to go with what's on the fucking emails. It's about, you know, those protesters were paid for by the Democrats and all this stuff and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I don't care about that part. Maybe they are. I don't know. Maybe they're getting free lunch because people are bought off with food, just like I'm bought off with food. But the fact is, Kavanaugh wrote these emails. He has been a biased operative for certain leaders. He has been. He's been that. Don't deny that fact. Let's not deny the fact that when the Jane Doe case that happened, right? He wrote the dissent on this Jane Doe case. He tried to block a 17-year-old illegal immigrant from having an abortion.
Oh, that was the judge in that case?
That was Kavanaugh.
See, I don't know a ton about Kavanaugh, to be honest.
This is a fact. This is a big fucking fact, right? A lot of people don't seem to fucking recognize this. That was Kavanaugh. He wrote the dissent on this. This was not that long ago. If I'm not mistaken, it was
either this year or months ago, right?
Last year, yeah. He literally there's a recording of this. If people can actually please pay attention very closely to this, I'm not trying to spread out my fucking beliefs or whatever. I'm just spreading the facts. Kavanaugh said, to what point would we say that abortion is no longer the solution? Are you kidding me? This girl does not want to have the child. We're forcing her to have the child because in the state of Texas, by 20 weeks, anything after that, if you're still pregnant, if you want to get an abortion, it is illegal in the state of Texas. But he kept going. He kept on going. He kept on trying. And then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do that, and we have to find a sponsor, and this, and a legal guardian for her, and blah 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 blah. This is Kavanaugh. These are facts.
You would think they wouldn't want a quote anchor baby born in America.
Yeah, but apparently they did. Are we this sick now? That's the question that I'm raising: is are we this sick? Are we ignoring facts?
My worry about this is, I mean, I've only read a small amount on it and seen a bit of them talk on the shows, but they're not releasing hundreds of thousands of documents about this guy, and I mean, we all know he's going to get put through, but at least have that information be out there in the open. I mean, they wouldn't even give Merrick Garland a hearing. They're going to rush this guy through in a couple of weeks.
They wouldn't even give Merrick Garland private conversations. Yeah. People forget that about Merrick Garland. What the Democrats are trying
with more than a year left in his presidency, they would not allow Obama to,
And why did they not, Chaplain? Please do tell people.
Well, because they said it was too close to the election year and that it wouldn't be fair and that the people needed to speak.
This is what you vote for. Someone said this best, and I'm sorry, I'm not stealing this person's words. This is what you voted for. No, you're right. That his aides are not people you vote for. It's people he chose. It's people who he picked. But you picked the president who then picked these people to be in his office.
Why he still has so much Republican support, because he gets to pick the Supreme Court. Now he's got two Supreme Court, very conservative Republican. He's got this tax law put through. And this is why people like Paul Ryan still back him, and all these other conservatives don't go against him.
Kavanaugh sits in one thing and says, no, Roe v. Wade is, settled law. And then on his fucking paper email that he sent in 2003, apparently it's not settled law. So which one is it? You have to answer the question correctly. You can't say, oh, but I wrote that in the past. Yeah, but are you saying this in person because this is public and you're writing something else in private?
Exactly.
That's the difference here, Mr. Kavanaugh, or Judge Kavanaugh, however you want to be referred to with your douche-looking face.
Well, and I saw a bit on John Oliver last night where they showed how the conservative senators and congressmen, I don't know who's talking to him, how they're questioning Kavanaugh. And literally the one guy was asking him about why he's a Sharpie. What does that have to do with policy?
Politics, yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's such a fluff piece for these people because they know he's going through. They may as well just be like, how do you like your coffee? And,
But that's my problem with people like Ben Sass, who are pretending to care as much as he says he does. This guy will have a lifetime appointment. We have to remember this. He can revert. If Kavanaugh, and not if, when Kavanaugh gets confirmed, the Republicans finally have the power to repeal Roe v. Wade. I think a lot of people are forgetting this. They can finally all of a sudden go back and question DOMA all over again and have gay marriage taken away. All the protections and all the little things that we all seem to have walking around in the United States, not in Canada, I'm sorry guys, walking around that we think, oh, it's there, it's safe, that could be taken away.
Yeah.
Because now they have the power, and it's for men. I think a lot of people forget it is for men who will make decisions for the United States of America. And a lot of you are not paying attention to this because it's convenient not to pay attention. Ignorance is bliss. You know what I mean? That's the main problem I'm having.
As long as your little world or your little circle of life is working for you, then these things don't matter.
Well, it's why I think a lot of the young voters, like, I don't know much about what you guys are talking about right now, in all honesty, but I feel like a lot of the misinformation or the people that don't care, some of the blame falls on guys like, Milo Yiannopoulos or Tucker Carlson or even Bill Maher or John Oliver, depending on what side of the aisle you are the people that break down the information for us. Yeah. And if they're not fucking, you know, doing that justice, and this is what you get an idiot voter base that's, you know, they're not, they don't really know or give a fuck. You know what I mean? It's
well, and they're voting on sound bites, right? Yeah. And you're right, on both sides.
Yeah, it's on both sides. It's on both sides. It's not just on the Republican side. I hate to come off like that. I'm angry because I know what's gonna happen. But
and let's face it, they're in power right now, and they're the ones that are doing the stupid, fucked up shit. You know what I mean? So like,
and the reason they're rushing them is because they know there's a chance they could lose the midterms in November. Yeah. And if they don't get him in, then you know, then they lose that.
So basically, there are a lot of seats going up in the Congress, at least. In Congress, there's a lot of seats going up, but the main ones, the big toss-ups that we're talking about, there's 27 seats, right? 25 of them are Republican that are right now being questioned heavily. And with that going on, if the best case scenario is that we win all the seats and Democrats will have 230 votes in Congress, at least. That's the dream. That's not going to happen, though, right? But if the Democrats get enough where it forces the Republicans to work with them, that's going to be very, very scary. There's a questionable seat right now in deep, deep red Texas for Ted Cruz.
Yeah, Ted Cruz and this Beto O'Rourke. Is that his name?
Yeah. 88 or 84 was the last year that a Democrat won in Texas for, you know, going into Senate, if I'm not mistaken.
Super close what the polls are saying.
4 points. 4 points. That's the margin. 4 points is the margin of error. Yeah. That's huge. You know what I mean? That's huge. But it's very important to, if you are a college student, you're outside of your state and you don't feel like you can vote, you still can. You can do an absentee voter. Yeah. Right? Vote. It's so important that we
remember. No reason why anybody can't vote. If you have not the right ID, go to a group. There's lots of groups in the States that help you get the right voter ID.
Yeah. It's a very
start now. Don't wait till the day of. Don't wait till the week before. Start now. You have enough time to get your. And I don't care who you are, who you're going to vote for. I don't care if the Republicans win. I mean, I don't want them to, but at least if they won because people duly voted, then I'd be like, that's what the people want.
I will say that 45 said something that was pretty cool. I don't really like the guy much. I don't hate him. I don't really even despise him. I just don't like him. Yeah. He said that if I get impeached, it's your fault. He's right about that. Because if people don't vote, it's your fault. If you like the guy, vote. Yeah. I don't care who you vote for. Just vote. You know what I mean? Vote. It's very important that we vote. There are people who literally died for people to be able to vote. You should vote. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Exercise that right that you have, because you never know if one day it'll be taken away from you because all of a sudden Republicans want to pass laws that you need to produce all these fucking paperwork that you never had to before.
Yeah. And it's sad because there's still people around the world that wish they could vote. I always get upset when I see, especially, in my community, I see girls and women not voting. And I'm thinking, like there's women in the world today that cannot vote just strictly because they're a woman.
Yeah. But it's also their fucking right in a free nation to not
if they
don't
it's
want.
Their right. I didn't say it's the law.
That's the double-edged sword to it, right? Because again, there are a lot of people who float by in the middle class people, or even the working poor for that matter, where in all honesty, it doesn't make an effect on their life, regardless of what way it goes. You know what I mean? So you get a lot of that attitude, like whatever, I'm fucked if I do, I'm fucked if I don't.
Sad that people feel that way, and it's just like, come on, at least educate, because I know a lot of people who don't vote don't know anything about it. Like that's the thing. Like I'll be like, oh, you're gonna vote? Oh, I don't care. I don't follow politics.
Right. Or you get the
this is like somebody
voters.
Who's on welfare, and I'm like, you don't think that's affecting you? You're on welfare.
Yeah. No, it's true. Like I'm not saying I agree with it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
of course we're in a free. We're not in Australia where it's mandatory to vote.
Like
right?
I waived my right to vote in this last one, right? Like I declined it.
But you showed up.
Yeah, of course.
And you're educated on the things. You're not just
that's what I was going to say.
I'm going to stay home and smoke this bowl and not go in and vote today.
Well, I did that too. But
that's part of our privilege here. Me, you, and Arthur. We are informed. Mm-hmm. We are educated in the sense, maybe not educated in every other sense, but educated in the sense
we can always know more, of course, but still, I mean, I feel like I at least know the basis of what's going on in my country.
Yeah, well, but you should. I think it is your civil duty to know what is going on, at least on the small scale in your city. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To at least have an idea. If you have no interest in national politics, my interest happens to be in national politics.
A lot of people really don't go out for the city elections. And that's the most important. Yeah. Municipals are so important. And a lot of people, like, that's the lowest turnout historically.
Yeah. Yeah, well, most people, it's fair. They can't be bothered to take, the 3 seconds out of their fucking day that it takes to,
vote. Oh, it drives me crazy, especially people who are going to pick up their kids from the school the freaking election is held in, the voter booth. Yeah. Come on, people. It's right there.
But no, what I'd like to see personally, and I mean, as much as this, like I said this on the last show, like as much fun as I got out of the meltdown that happened in the U.S. over Trump, I mean, people got to stop fucking voting despite someone they don't like. I don't like the fucking, I'm going to use their quote, the coastal elites telling me how to live my fucking life either. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to fucking vote just to spite them idiots. If the person they're supporting has the best ideas and has the, to me, the best way to lead us into a prosperous fucking future, then that's the person that I want representing me. I kind of wish, though, here, I'd like to see more fucking referendums. I'm kind of tired of politicians just making decisions. Yeah. I like
to vote on. I like that the Americans get to vote on whether you want legalized weed or whether they want to have, like the Americans in Florida are having a referendum on whether they're going to allow felons to regain their voting rights.
Be careful what you wish for too, though, because it doesn't seem like in the United States there's enough. Popular vote is so important, right?
Like certain things I'd like to have a say on, and I think the people should have a say on certain things.
Well, we should have a say on who we put into office because I think, 45 has this huge problem of thinking he won the election by a landslide. He did not. Electorally, yes.
Electorally, yeah.
But if you look at the breakdown of where he won, those key states where he won at, he did not win by a landslide.
No.
There was one city he literally won by, if I'm not mistaken, Jacqueline and I were talking about this, by like 1,000 votes. Yeah. That is nothing. That is...
Yeah. I think in the 2 key states, it was like 5,000 votes or something like that.
That is nothing. People also need to remember that Hillary Clinton won by 3 million popular votes.
Yeah.
So you can't say it's razor thin. It's an edge right now. It's hair thin. These races that we're talking about, these key races that's happening right now in the United States, both in the Senate seats and in the congressional seats.
And some of the people running, like you have a fully out transgendered African American running. I can't remember if they identify as male or female, so I don't want to say what they are. But a transgendered person running, and they're African American to boot. You've got a ton of Latinos. You've got a ton of Black people. I think there's a couple Muslim people running. Like
all right, I'm just going to say this. This isn't personally what I believe, but I'm just going to fucking say it just for the sake of this topic.
Go ahead.
Bringing those people out, like out in droves this fucking soon after, straight white men have felt victimized by, this kind of shit, you know what I mean, is not going to end fucking well. It's not going to end well because most people are going to look at these people as diversity hires, not the right people for the fucking job. Now, I don't know these people. I know nothing about them. I'm not personally saying that they're not meant for the job, but you have to understand that the way that people think, and there's going to be a lot of backlash and a lot of people not voting for them because it's here's more of that fucking New York elite shit shoved down my throat. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing, because you won't have a transgendered Black woman running in like Butte, Montana.
No.
Yeah.
So, you're going to have, Paul Jackson, and he'll represent his people,
But you never know what's going to turn off a baby boomer. You know what I mean? You never know what these fucking, what
they're getting dementia now too, so.
Yeah. But, it's I hate that that's a part of our world now, but it is. It fucking is. I
think it's more important that these people have the chance now.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not to say necessarily they're shoo-in to win, because we all know they're not when there's a lot of fear and hatred still out there towards certain types of people. But I just think that it's amazing that they even have a chance, because 30 years ago, there'd be no out transgendered person representing anybody.
No, absolutely. Harvey Milk was shot.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people I think tend to forget that Harvey Milk was shot. Barney Frank is no longer in office.
Yeah.
You know, he was an out gay man.
Yeah.
Of course, one of the most liberal.
No, I was like, he's transgender?
No. Barney Frank was from, then again, Barney Frank was also from the deep liberal state of Massachusetts. I think a lot of people forget that aspect.
That fucking blows my mind, too. Yeah. Like, it still kills me that, like, I see all this liberalism coming out of Massachusetts. I'm like, but Boston is, like, historically racist as fuck. Like, what are you talking about? Like, they started fucking throwing bananas at a Boston Bruins game at a black hockey player. Like, what the fuck do you mean? But, yeah, I mean, it's great. You know, it is. It's really nice that people now feel comfortable with whom they are, that they can get out there and they can run. Because, as I said, I don't give a fuck who you are. If you have the best ideals that suit mine and you see the same vision that I do about going forward and how we're going to do it, fuck, by all means, here, have my vote.
And that's the thing. Let's hope these people have the shit to back it up. That's all I'm saying. Yep. I'm just glad to see types of people out there.
That's part of the privilege, again, that Arthur gets to have, because he is smart enough to know that difference between I don't care if you're blah 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 blah, as long as you can take me to the people. But not a lot of people vote. See, here's the real issue that I do have. There's still this huge underlying, let me not just say racism, prejudice that's going on in the United States of America, right? It would be a lie if we said that's not true, Ryan. It's very, very true. That people would rather vote for their kind. Now that goes both ways, but people would rather vote for their kind. So if you see a white man who you feel like I've heard this said so many times. It's again, I'm from New York. I'm from New York City. I'm from the 5 boroughs. I'm not from some deep state, so I don't want people to be shocked when I say what I'm about to say. This is in New York City, people. I have heard someone literally say, he looks like a nice guy. And I said, well, why do you say that? You had a conversation with him for 30 seconds. Because he's white. And it literally hit me where my lady parts tingle. Like, what? And I remember just like doing, Jacqueline and I have not hung out in person. Neither have Arthur and I, but I do this habit when I used to have long hair. I would like flip it and be like, "What? What did you just say?"
Oh my god, I forgot you had long hair.
When I was told this, it shocked me, because come to find out, this guy was a woman beater.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's nice because he was a white guy.
That whole sentiment is wrong, because I'm white. I don't know if you know this, but I'm white and I'm an asshole. Like, you know what I mean?
I know
like,
that.
Yeah, like there's like, obviously that's not the fucking case. Like, I know lots of white people, and most of them are complete fucking dicks.
Look at 45. He's white. Kind of orange.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Caucasian.
Arthur, that's not fair. You're not an asshole. It's like you have assholey opinions, but you're not an asshole. There's a difference, okay? You're not gonna go beat someone up because they're black. That's an asshole.
No, that's a racist. Like, that's there's a little bit different than that, but no, it's, you know, I hate that shit. Like, I do, and I hate the fact that I have to live in a world where I have to succeed that point to people. Yeah. And by that, what I mean is, like, it pisses me off that there's a point where it's like, well, you have to admit, like, because you're white, you get this special privilege. It's like, well, fuck, you're right, because just like what you said, well, he's a nice guy. How do you know? Well, he's white.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, to me, that just fucking irks me.
If you put me and a person of color in a room, a lot of people are just going to assume that I'm maybe smarter, or maybe I have more money, or maybe I have a better education, and it's not necessarily true.
No, it's not. But there's that perception, right? And like, that, to me, that just pisses me off, because like, I don't fucking feel that way. I know the world for what it is. There's good people everywhere. There's fucking pieces of shit everywhere. You know, like, I'm not.
Well, even remember that hilarious BBC interview where the kids rush into the room while the dad's talking, and then the wife runs in, and people assumed it was the nanny because she was Asian.
Yeah, that was the wife.
Yeah,
she was the wife. She was.
Oh my god, that was the best thing in the world. I just loved that.
So the way the little girl walks, like, with
marched right in. Oh, I love that video so much, and the way the mom just slid into the room on the floor. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that shit was funny.
We have this way of hiding our racism, right? The way we are being prejudiced sometimes. And I talk about this often. I have really bad anxiety. Super, 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 super terrible anxiety. And there would be times when I was on the train, especially during the Boston 9/11. I mean, not Boston 9/11.
Yeah. The Boston bombing.
Marathon. Yeah, the Boston Marathon bombing. Where I would be on a train, and I knew that they were Sikh. I knew they were Sikh. I knew for a fact they were not of Islam faith. And I would walk up because I thought something bad was going to happen. I'm not justifying my actions. I'm not saying that was cool of me to do. It's not. But, I will say that when you have anxiety, it's unjustified fear, right?
Yeah.
We have this way of hiding ourselves at times when we are afraid. And because you're afraid, you tend to point the fingers and say, it's this one, it's that one, it's blah, blah, blah.
I think sometimes racism isn't, people don't know that they're saying or doing something racist. Like I watched Celebrity Big Brother UK, and something happened last week. And at one point they're doing like a little skit that has to be in a hospital. And one of the ladies says to the only brown guy there, and he wears a turban, she said, "Can we use your head thing to use as bandages?" And he's like, "No, you cannot do that. That's sacred headwear." And then the next time you see her interacting with him, she says, "You're too brown. You need to look more unhealthy. We need to put white powder on your face." And he then got angry and took offense to that.
That is offensive.
And she's like, "I'm not racist. I didn't say anything racist." And then everybody in the house was telling him he had no right to be offended. And it's like, well, she did not intend to be racist. I'm sure she didn't 100%. But what she said was offensive, and he's entitled to his feeling of being offended by that.
But that's part of being ignorant, though, right? Like
and that's the thing. A lot of times people don't realize that those things, like when you say to somebody like, "Oh, your hair's so nappy, can I touch it?" That's racist. You can't say that. That's not nice.
For example, at my job, I'm very out about my sexuality, right? I'm pretty out. I don't hide anything. I talk about sucking cock all the time. I'm not really one to hide. On the phone to
customers, yes.
I've always been an out and proud person. Ever since I was a young kid, I've never had recollections of wanting to be with a woman. I've wanted to wear what they were wearing, not be with them. But I have a coworker who, he's not homophobic, not at all. I actually really, really like him. But he doesn't realize sometimes that the things that he says are completely inappropriate. And he has said multiple times, when I first met Ryan and realized he was gay, I thought it was weird. And I would just kind of turn my head and be like, what? Like, you fucked that sentence up. You know what I mean? You started off with a real double negative there. But that's on you. That's your opinion. I'm not going to hurt you on that. But then he'll finish off the sentence with, "But I realize he's just a human being and he's a great guy." So, there's that aspect of it too, that we have to sometimes let them finish their sentence before we go on the attack.
I'm going to come in on his defense. I'll admit that I shared the exact same sentiment. I'm a straight, young, fucking teenage boy. To me, homosexuality was just something you joked about with your buddies. So, I had that same kind of, why am I being such an idiot about this shit? You know what I mean? Like, I think that all of us are going to have, or I'm just speaking for straight white dudes, we all come to these realizations, you know what I mean? Like, where it's like, oh, well, it's just the dude who likes fucking dudes. Like, why does it fucking matter?
We all have to get over when we start to meet gay or lesbians that they're not all after you.
Now, that sentiment has kind of pissed me off forever. Like,
So granted, I want to ride Arthur.
Well, I said it to my one buddy. My one buddy was going off. He's like, "Oh, I don't care if guys are gay. Just keep it all away from me." I'm like, "Why the fuck do you care?" He's like, "Well, I just don't want to be hit on." And I look at him like, "You are a fat piece of shit that no one finds attractive. What you fucking think?
Get a girl to hit on you.
You know what I mean? Like, what makes you fucking think that all of a sudden, oh well, he likes men and I'm a man, so I must be his type?
You know how much of a compliment it is to be told you're handsome.
Oh, I love it.
I would, you know what I mean? Like, I
love it.
swear on my life, I would take a compliment from a fucking raccoon if it would compliment me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'll go down to the city and I'll see a girl check me out, and I'll go, whatever. I go down to the city and I have a guy check me. I'm like, fucking A. Like, I did it. Like, I'm looking fucking good today. Like, I don't know what I did different. Like, I must be having my beard
gay guys are very, like, okay, this is very stereotypical. But gay guys are very judgy. I'm a very judgy gay guy. You guys know what my idea of handsome is. Jacqueline at least has a very good idea of what it is.
Anything that moves.
Exactly. It's a little deeper than that. Anything that has a pulse. But I'm very judgmental. I have a very clear-cut idea of what I think is handsome. Race doesn't really go into that. And so when I pay you a compliment and I tell you you're handsome, it's not because I want to suck your cock. First of all, that's too much jaw work for me. Okay, I'm trying not to have any fucking frown lines. So sucking cock is out of the question here. And if you think it's going to be anal sex, you better only last 5 minutes, because I have hemorrhoids, so it can't last a long time. So don't compliment yourself.
Ryan, I thought you wanted to have a romantic all-night evening.
No, but I'm just letting them know. But I want people to know, like, I don't. When I say you're handsome, it's because I think you're handsome. If I say your clothes look cute, it's probably because you finally stopped shopping at JCPenney.
Ryan will tell you if he wants to bone you. It's not, just because he says you have a cute outfit on doesn't mean he wants to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That, to me, that whole thing is stupid, but I definitely feel that every straight guy goes through that kind of notion, and I will apologize on behalf of all of us for that. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything by it. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's just, it was foreign to me.
One of my friends said, "Oh, Rhonda picked." It was a joke apparently, but they're like, "Oh, Rhonda picked up a girl at a gay club last night," and I'm like, "Okay, it's cool as long as she doesn't come on to me." I did the same thing 19 years.
Right? Like, I think it's a weird coping mechanism that we have. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I know that I personally didn't mean anything by it, but I definitely came off as prejudiced. Which is a fucking eye opener. Like, and as it should be, right? For the most part, like, if you're called out on some type of bigotry that you don't even know that you're displaying, most people are gonna go, "Oh fuck!" Like, I should probably reevaluate how I do this kind of stuff.
Well, there's this idea that and it doesn't really apply to lesbians as much as it does for gay guys. There's this double standard when it comes to sexuality or sexual orientation that you think a gay guy is going to jump you. First of all, I have standards, darling.
Right?
I'm not going to jump you. Trust me when I tell you your dick is not big enough. your money's not long enough.
He's got hemorrhoids. He needs a big one.
Yeah.
You don't dress well enough. Like, that's exactly.
You don't dress well enough. Like, you don't have good enough benefits. So trust me when I tell you, I am not interested, baby. Like, I share that
and
sentiment.
You better have really good freaking body hygiene for Ryan.
Oh my god, yes. Are you kidding me? Like, I have stopped making out with guys because they had a smell. Like, I stopped using bathrooms because there was a weird smell, knowing it's a bathroom in the bathroom. Do you know how many times a day I go into my manager's office and constantly tell her, my bathroom smells like a fucking fish market? And she tells me, okay, let me call management and tell them to clean it for you. Because I am a very high maintenance person. I just am. But I want a lot of straight guys to know I'm not interested in you.
Yep.
You know who I'm interested in? The guy with the 401k. Not you.
Wait, so all the straight guys are poor? I mean, you're not wrong, but like...
But Ryan, you told me many stories about the straight guys you've been with. Sorry, quote, straight guys you've been with.
Yeah, the image of straight.
The ones that had the girlfriends, they wanted a cute little, one night stand and whatnot, and they got good head from me. Of course, it's fun for them. It's a thrill. But I know I don't seek them. They're the ones that come to me. I've been at bars, and I swear to God, and maybe it's because of my personality. You guys will, when we all hang out, you'll see. I can strike a conversation with almost anybody, whether it be about politics, whether it be about books, whether it be about vaginas even. I can talk about anything. And there's that enamoring way about me that I've realized that allures people. I don't know why, because I'm a fat slob, but okay. I mean, if you think it's attractive, good for you. I'm just going to break your hip if I like you. But guys seem to like that. And, listen, I have needs. They have to be met. So you have a pulse, you can get it up. Okay, get it going. I don't discriminate on that aspect. So, no. But I don't brag about it. These, you know what I mean? Like private conversations I have with Jacqueline or private conversations I have with Jacqueline.
Yeah.
I'm not airing it out on YouTube like we do right now and saying I've slept with this many. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you outed me, Jacqueline, but you know what I mean? There's a huge difference with that, though, because there are gay guys who count the notches on their belt of how many supposed straight guys that they've been.
Oh, yeah. They're still men. Like, yeah. You know, and that was one of the things that one of my sister's friends explained to me. And, you know, we're just having a candid conversation because I'm a curious individual, especially for things that I don't have any kind of idea upon, right? We were just talking about him and picking up dudes and shit, and it just dawned on me, like, you're just a fucking guy. You're just as creepy and skeevy as the rest of us. Like, you're just as fucking bad, man. Like,
all guys are creeps.
Yeah, like we are.
Weird comments I make. Do you know how many weird comments I make on the street, or how many skeevy comments? I had to remind my friend who made a comment about how much I was eating, because she views me as this woman. Because I always call myself a woman. Mm-hmm. She views me as a woman, and she was like, "Damn, Ryan, I thought you were trying to get that bikini body." I'm like, "I'm still a man."
Yeah.
And she was like, "I forget that sometimes." Because it is easily forgettable, especially with someone like me who's so out there, that I am still a man, that I can still consume 7,000 calories in one sitting and not give a flying fuck.
Well, this is probably one of the only times you'll hear me spew some of this lefty shit, but this is one of the reasons why we can fucking be really mad at Hollywood and our television, because they broadcast nothing but very effeminate men as gay men.
Yeah.
So the world now looks at all gay men as these little dainty wannabe, you know, small female dudes, but they're fucking men.
Yeah,
like
they are
different type, right? Like they are men. So regardless of your stance on like the genders or anything, you have to understand that they're still biologically men. They're still strong. They still need to consume the same amount of calories, like Ryan was just saying. Like it's fucking terrible. Like there's not enough real representation of who people are. You know,
it's the forgotten conversation that we have about sexual orientation. That doesn't make you any less of a man or a woman.
Right? Exactly. Like it's lost. It's something that, you know, I kind of personally feel like society we really should be fucking looking into. So we stopped lying to each other as to what anything is, right? We got to stop playing people as caricatures. This isn't fucking old Bugs Bunny cartoons with the fucking, you know, the crows and shit. Like that's not who people are. Like we can't allow this kind of fucking
which were
shit.
Racist, by the way.
So fucking racist.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
I mean, they're still trying it though, because like Ryan was saying, I'm pretty sure it was Ryan who said this, when they wanted to cast Crazy Rich Asians, they still, or maybe it was To All the Boys I Loved Before, they wanted to change the main character to a white person.
Yeah.
And they had to fight them and say, no freaking way.
You know, now I kind of understand the argument on both sides. You know, I definitely believe that if a character was written as something, and I mean, this character is in the real world, you know what I mean? Then you should hire somebody like that. But as Hollywood's concerned, there's not enough, well, I mean, not as Hollywood's concerned, but there's just not enough known actors of color. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't name you a famous Sri Lankan actress. No. But if the fucking movie called for, you know, that character, I could understand why they'd want to put fucking, you know, somebody known. Like, right? Like, I get that, because to them, they don't give a fuck about what they're doing to our heads. Exactly. All they care about is asses in the seat so they can make their fucking money. And then you have a very unhealthy worldview. You don't actually understand that this is not what represents us. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, the biggest compliment I've been paid at my job, I'm out, guys. Like when I say I'm out and about. I am crawling in your freaking pantyhoses. I am that out. But one of the biggest compliments I was paid at my job recently was when my boss came to me, not my manager, my boss came to me and said, "You literally can steal the show. You can sit there and have a conversation with the deepest of the deeps and sell them something." That's what, you know.
Because you're a fancy used salesman.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But you know what I mean? Because that's what, my sexuality doesn't define me. I am a 28-year-old.
Well, and you're a lot more than just a gay person. That's the thing. And that's what everybody has to be. Like Arthur's more than just being a white heterosexual male, and I'm more than just being a white heterosexual woman. There's so much things, but society wants to put labels on every little thing and put you into a little box. Yeah. And like, you know, and that's the thing, you know, we need to be more than just our boxes.
Yeah, no, it's true. But being in the box, thinking inside the box is just so comfortable. You know what I mean? It's just so comfy to not have to care and just be oblivious. I mean, the truth is harsh and the truth hurts, and not many people want to feel like shit. You know, I've been learning a lot in the last few years about admitting bullshit and admitting my own wrongs. And as much as I don't want to fucking admit it, you know what I mean? Like, I fucked up. Like, this is something I did. Gross. This is something I fucking feel.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel, though, as someone like me who likes to talk, you know, who the fuck am I to talk to anybody about anything if I can't accept the shit that I am, you know? Yeah. So we need more of that.
Growth. We need growth. I think that's what's missing. And not just, you know, not to bring it back to politics, but just as a point. That's what we're missing is this growth, this real essential growth that is so important to our society. You know, to realize I've told you guys on the air, off air, stories about racism I've encountered within my community where I am told I am a banana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys know that term that I use. I don't know if it was on air or off air, but I was called a banana by even my own Asian friends because I supposedly act more white because I like to consume pasta. I like to have pizza. I like chicken breast more so than I do the dark meat. You know what I mean? I've been called many things. Have they hurt me? You'd have to be important in my life for it to hurt.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that's not always the sentiment that everybody shares, though. I'm a very strong individual by myself, so I don't care about a lot of comments. It's water off a duck's back for me. But I can see why it's detrimental to a 16-year-old who is just finding out who they are or why.
When you're 16, everybody's opinion matters to you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like public perception of you is
that's what I'm saying to my daughter. I'm like, who cares? You don't know these. Like she's like, oh my God, Mom. I'm like, you don't know these people. You're never going to see them again. Mom, it matters. And I'm like, it really doesn't. But, you know, you're 16. It matters.
I'm a fan of, you know, I was at least a fan of saying, somebody said something like, for instance, racist to you. In one ear, out the other ear. Just fucking continue with your day. Don't let it bother you, right? Don't give a fuck. Don't let that person have that power over you.
Yeah.
But then I got to thinking of the fact, well, no, that's actually a really bad way of doing it because what you're doing is you're just emboldening the person who said that because they obviously already don't give a fuck if they're going to be spewing racism. You know what I mean? So, so you kind of have to fucking engage with this shit.
But when you're told, when I was very, oh my God, I was so young. I must have been 12. Yeah, 12. I was in middle school. I was in 7th grade. And a teacher of mine had said to me, you better be smart because your community is always losing. Yeah. Talking about the gay community. I was 12 and it struck me. And I remember how... Yeah. I'll never forget that later on when I had graduated and whatnot, she said to me, oh, you proved me wrong. I'll never forget her name. She's a bitch. Her name is Miss Irizarry. I'm sure she's married now.
But you didn't prove her wrong. You proved you right. Fuck her.
Exactly. I've always been a vocal person. This will never change about me. But, you know, in light of, was it 2010 to 2014, a lot of those suicides that were happening in the gay community, when the Trevor Project had come out, it was for me, when I started to understand how important it was to remind myself that it is different for me and it is different for them. Just because I react the way that because I used to share that sentiment of who gives a fuck, you know, blah, 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 blah. But it matters to them.
Yeah.
And so I have to somewhat make it matter to me. You know what I mean? The social injustices have to matter to me as well. And I have to start to fight back.
If one idiot feels safe enough to spew shit, you know, then nobody's safe. You know what I mean? So in that respect, yes, you can't accept that kind of stuff. But like, if somebody calls you dumb or they call you fucking, what have you, then yeah, in one ear out the other ear. Fuck you. The fuck do you matter to me? You know what I mean? Like,
well, I just been thinking like the whole time Ryan said that people called him a banana.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what food would I be? And all I can think of is a marshmallow because I'm white on the outside and I'm white on the inside and I'm fat. I'm squishy like a marshmallow.
I never realized, when I was being told I was a banana, I used to not know what that meant.
Yeah.
And so mean.
And then
I remember people used to say Oreo and stuff.
I was just gonna say that. I can recall a guy that I went to school with that everyone said, "Oh, you're an Oreo," and he loved it. He played it out. Yeah, man, it's fucking great. But now thinking about it, it's like, that wasn't really cool. Like that was, we were saying some shit to this fucking guy, and he was, as cool as all could fucking be about
the first person to tell me that term was actually a black guy in high school.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh yeah, people always call me an Oreo." And at the time I was like, "What?" And he explained it and I was like, "Oh, that's funny." Right. And I never really thought about how offensive that was. Now he at the time is the 80s, maybe he didn't find it offensive, but it really was offensive. And I feel bad that I even thought that was funny.
Right. But I mean, it's just funny to me though that like you can say that, like, what would make a fucking black person white? You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that
because he said because he talked white and he liked like rock and roll music and heavy metal and he wore like Doc Martens and a trench coat.
And that right there is the downfall of fucking tribalism. Like that right there is solely the fact of, well, you look one way, so you have to act, talk, and think a certain fucking way. Well, no, fuck you. That goes against freedom. I am free. I can be whatever I want. I could dress like a fucking crack dealer standing on the fucking corner and listen to bluegrass if I fucking want to. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeehaw, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like it's hilarious to me that we're still sinking these labels on each other when we're fighting to have labels taking off. You know what I mean?
But maybe part of the problem is that a lot of the racism, just like me, and I'm sure millions of people can attest to this, the racism that I face is not necessarily from white people. It's always been from within my community.
Well, I've seen that happens a lot in different communities. Yeah.
Being called not light enough, or being told that I'm too dark to even be my race, or
too tall,
too tall. Yeah, not buff enough, or whatever it is. There's always been this sense of I was never really enough, and so. You have to, I hope this isn't offensive to you and to Arthur, but I feel like maybe you have to be outside of being Caucasian or white to understand that sense of the racism that comes from within your own, because it's crazy to hear that.
Yeah, because we don't really face that. Like, there's no white people out there in the world saying, "Hey, Arthur, you're not white enough,"
Well, no, because I'm not part of one of the weird ethnic white groups. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now, if I was,
I guess if you were in like
if I was Chechen, who are white, then they face racism from other fucking white people. Because I don't buy the whole definition of institutionalized racism being used as racism. Racism is still fucking hating somebody because of the color of their skin, right? Flat out.
Yeah.
Of course.
And there definitely is out there in the world, but not here in fucking North America. Fuck no.
Right, or Arthur and I would not face that on the streets of Toronto. Like, "Hey, whitey, you're not hunky enough," like
from
that.
Another white person? No.
Yeah.
There is the word, oh God, I hate to say this because it's so close to the N word, but the W word that runs the N word. That's used against white people, yes. But that's about, there's cracker, there's honky, there's Yankee. There's those words. But they're kind of a little bit more old school, I guess, in comparison.
Honestly, and if somebody called me any of those words, I would not be offended, but I'd be like, whatever, I don't care. Because it doesn't have the same meaning to me as being called a banana would to you, or the C word or something like that. Yeah.
The few times I've been called a cracker, I've had to school the person as to why they're giving me power by using that fucking word. Like, you're essentially saying that you're still my fucking subservient slave. Like, you should get your shit together and not fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not detrimental. And to anybody who is an actual fucking racist, that's going to give them a little superiority complex. So just comment with that fucking idiocy.
Yeah.
you know, call me whatever you want. Call me a pasty, no seasoned chicken eating fucking whatever. I don't give a shit. Like, you know what I mean? Call me whatever the fuck you want. Like, because I promise you, your words hold no fucking weight in my life.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean.
But that's our attitude, and we're privileged to have that attitude that we have. Though.
Exactly.
We are. We're very privileged to have that because not everybody has that. I'm not calling them weak. Not everybody has that strength that we do. To carry our torches and not really care about how much gusts of winds are, you know, passing us by. That's
it's the same. A lot of self-reflection in life have taught me to not give a shit. Because back when I was like 16 and 17 and 18, that shit mattered to me too. Now I really don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, like whatever. Yeah. I mean, I'm still gonna be trucking, still gonna be living my fucking life. You know what I mean? Like, but at that same point in time, though. I'm not from a fucking certain demographic that has experienced fucking the worst of the worst for the longest time. So I'm not going to sit here and try to fucking talk for a group of people that I don't share their experiences. But I don't know. No, I mean, that's just me. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Sticks and stones. You know what I mean? Like that. I took that one to heart. Like, you cannot fucking hurt me with words. You can't.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. There's not really a lot you could say that bothers me. I laugh at like, call me fat. Oh, really? I didn't know I was fat. Thank you.
There was only one time that somebody ever said anything to me. And I'll admit it. Like, it fucking triggered the shit out of me. I was arguing about the transgendered bathroom issue in the U.S. Obviously, I'm fucking for it. And the bitch called me a fucking hippie. And I literally, like, I was shaken up. Like, I was like, oh my fucking God. Like, oh my God, this bitch literally just called me.
Any conversation with Arthur.
Literally just called me a fucking hippie. And it wasn't the fact that she called me, is that she literally believed that I'm some fucking hippie. And I was like, oh, you fuck.
But see, this is the funniest thing about Arthur, right? This makes me crack up about Arthur. Because I can imagine that would bother him much more than anything else. It's just like if you ever told me I was wearing last year's Gucci, I
would say to him, "You'll never own a Birkin, Ryan."
That pisses me off. Like, it angers me. I don't care. You call me all the other words. I am not wearing last year's
Ryan, I know that's a knockoff Hermes.
Oh my God, I would be. There's other things I don't care about. A lot of things, but that bothers me. Like, my coworker came up to me, like, it was a couple of months ago, and she saw me wearing these slippers. And they were current season. I just want to say this. And she said, oh, I saw blah, blah, blah wearing that from like some magazine a couple of years back. I said, and it bothered me the whole day until I had to call her and text her. And I was crying. I'm like, these are not last season. Like, these are new. They just came out.
Oh my God, Ryan.
The fact that she said my feet were like sausages because I have fat feet didn't bother me.
Nothing.
It was insane. I would wear last season's clothes.
Ryan will not want to see our clothes, Arthur. I'm like a Walmart specialist.
I'm wearing a shirt that I bought probably 4 or 5 years ago.
That doesn't matter.
I have a shirt that I bought before my father died, and I still wear it. It still fits me. 25 years old.
It doesn't matter. To other people, it doesn't matter to me. If you wear last season, it doesn't matter to me. But to me, it does. And it's huge because I cannot be that person you think I am.
That's the best insult for him. Ryan, you're so last season.
I can't. No, I would kill myself, honestly.
Oh, fuck.
I would kill myself. You can't.
Okay, well, on that happy note on World Suicide Prevention Day,
right.
We'll say thanks for listening. Tomorrow is the anniversary of 9/11, so take a moment and think of the victims of that, and have a good week. I don't know if I'm working Wednesday or Thursday, but we'll be back one of those days.
Yes.
Okay. Bye.
Take care.
Bye, guys.